So you left Canada and you moved to Vegas. You're living in my town now. Yeah. Welcome to Vegas, Stacie.
Thank you.
Perfect city for you, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. It was like we just had I was kind of mentioned to her earlier. I'm on Celsius. So she's like, oh, you got to convert it to Fahrenheit. I'm like, no, I'm Canadian. I think in Celsius. And so we just had, for those of you who might be Canadian and know anything about Celsius, or in the UK, because they're on Celsius too.
Yeah.
We just had like a month straight that it was 47 degrees. So that's like 110 or 115. Like it was freaking hot.
Yeah.
For like a month straight. And but in Canada, where I lived before, it gets down to minus 47. So I was kind of doing, and at minus 40, both of them meet up. The Celsius and Fahrenheit are the same at minus 40.
I'd rather deal with heat, extreme heat, than extreme cold, man.
Right. So I was doing the math on it, and I was like, okay, so up there in the winter, you've got the heat on all the time, and down here, you've got the AC on all the time. So up there, you live in an oven, and down here, you live in a fridge. It's like
That's right. And you have a pool, you know, to go dip in, you know.
And then I remembered ice.
Yeah, ice. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think I'll stay. Yeah, I'll stay here.
And it's real. Exactly, right? And Vegas has like sunshine like 350 days out of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's going to be cold, at least it's bright and sunshiny, which I need the sun. I need the sun. Every now and then when it gets gloomy or rainy, you end up loving it, you know, because it's it's very seldom we have rainy, gloomy days. So it's mostly sunny. So which is good for me, you know, because I'm sensitive to, you know, I mean, I talk about my anxiety and, you know, my depression on here, you know, pretty transparently. So I'm like somebody that needs sun. I would not do well in a gloomy place.
Yeah, same. I'm like, I don't know whether, you know, like, so now you're talking about mental health, right? Which is one of the things that I focus on because I do work with trauma sites. And one of the things that I teach is about the tattooers, like our responsibility to our clients' mental health. And so I'm hyper focused on mental health also. And Canada's not a good place for that.
No,
Vegas is a much better place.
Vegas is a better place, right? Better place. So, so can I tell them like the exciting news?
Yes.
I can?
Yes.
All right. So let's tell our listeners that, look, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to learn areola work. It's some of the most rewarding work you will ever do in your entire career. And it's some of the greatest service you could ever give to another human.
And the most challenging.
Yes.
And the easiest to mess up.
Yes.
Sorry to kind of put that in there.
I'm trying to, you know. But it's true.
Yeah, because we did this. So one of the girls that I work with, Becky, over in the UK, we did a survey.
Becky Gibbons?
No, Barker.
Okay.
So people aren't doing research on this. And now some people are starting to do research. We just started sharing something. There's like medical research actually finally happening around this. So we just kind of started with like a little basic idea and like, let's just give survivors a voice. And what we found was 81% of breast cancer survivors were less happy with their body after they got tattooed.
Oh,
so they might be really excited when they first see the tattoo. Like I was like, I didn't have anything. Then I did. And that really is really losing your breasts and losing your nipple areola complex is a really intense thing to go through. It's an amputation and it's intense and it does affect your mental health. And I don't care who you are. Nobody goes through that unscathed.
Absolutely.
So, and you'll be really excited, like your clients, if you do areola tattoos, without the foundation, your clients will be really excited when they first see it, but then they might go home and maybe it fades too much, or maybe it's scarred, or maybe it doesn't heal well, and maybe they're not happy with it, and maybe you don't hear that and you don't know that. So you just think that you're doing good work, so you just keep doing the same thing, right? So what we found was 81% of survivors were less happy with their body after they got tattooed. One lady said, and I hope Becky doesn't mind me sharing this with this community, one lady said that she wears a bra in the bath.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
She can't even look at her own body. So the way that I translate that, and this is going to be a hard-hitting point that I'm going to make right now, is 8 out of 10 tattooists are causing harm to their survivors.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 tattooists are harming their clients. So my whole thing in life is I just want to reduce that.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. So it's heartbreaking. And thank you for doing the work that you do. So that will segue us right into that you are going to be teaching here at the Girlz Inc. studio. You are. And I would not want any other person here but you teaching this class. So all our listeners, if you're interested in learning areola tattooing or relearning it.
So that's like, I was like, man, if I just help the people who've already kind of gone through it and are making a couple mistakes and just wish that they had their knowledge deepened.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would be great. Even just relearning it or just like leveling up your game a little bit so that your stuff gets more realistic.
Yes,
I love that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your class is going to sell out. So everybody listening to this podcast that would like to learn from Stacie and learn areola work, we have a wait list. So email training@girlzinc.com, and in the email title, put areola, Stacie Areola, if you want to learn and attend her areola class, or scar if you want to take her scar class, because they are two separate classes. You do not combine them because that's too much to put into one class. Let me ask you this. If we had a listener who is like, I want to learn both, do you suggest learning one before the other, or does it not matter?
Man, you must be a trainer at heart, because that is like, that's brilliant. Yeah. So ideally, you'd want to learn a little bit about scars and then go home and get some experience in scars, like learn how to like needle stretch marks, and maybe a little bit about like inkless is a big thing these days. And a lot of those solutions are causing people to hyperpigment. So it's like, it's not even really being utilized that well. So you want to learn a little bit about scar tissue and go home and do some work on scars, and then work on your drawings, because I do teach hyperrealism, and then come back and learn how to put the drawing into the scar.
Right.
That's like a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
That will set you up for success.
Right.
That'll set you up to be that top 20% instead of that bottom 80%.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you this. So let's say someone signs up for areolas with you, and they have to learn to draw them, like 3D. They have to do a 3D drawing on paper. Yeah. Do you have a pre-study?
Yeah.
So by the time they get to your class, they already can make a nipple look like it's popping off a piece of paper. Okay. Because I think that would be important.
Yes, it's very important.
So you got to pre-study.
You can't tattoo it if you can't draw it. If you can't draw it, you can't tattoo it. But drawing it doesn't mean you can tattoo it.
Right,
like putting it in scar tissue is a completely different thing. So that's like where the art and the craft comes in. So the drawing part is the tattoo artist part, and the technical ability to put it into scar tissue is the craft part.
Yes, because this is about as close as a PMU artist is going to get to a tattoo, because they have to learn light and dark shading, right? And how to bring something forward to make it look 3D. So and some clients want the mammary glands, and so you have to make them look a little bumpy sometimes. I mean, so you teach all that, and your work is you're one of the best in the world. You are. So you thought I didn't know who you were.
Well, when I came down here in 2018, nobody knew, because I'm not a PMU tattooist, right?
Well, my wife, she likes new shoes, and so yeah, I think some people are kind of surprised that I still see clients. But that's what brings me joy. I wish I could see clients more, but when you run a company, you have a store and blah blah blah, you get bogged down with projects. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I enjoy all my projects, but sometimes you get a little bit too far away from the work. But got to rock out a great pair of eyebrows today. I was excited, but no, I still see clients. I still enjoy being in the skin and tattooing. And thank God you do too. So
yeah, I just started a sleeve last week, and I was like, when I was doing the drawings, I was like, am I going to be able to tattoo this? Oh my goodness, I haven't done something this big in a while. When was the last time I did something this big? It's been like 8 months. Oh my God, I was totally tripping out. And then I started drawing. Like as soon as I started like laying those lines in, I was just like, I love tattooing. I fucking
Yeah,
love tattooing. Oh, I
yeah.
just swore I did it.
It's okay. I you know, look, I let an F-bomb oopsie out every now and then too. So I think all our listeners are adults. I try not to cuss too much.
The truth is, I fucking love tattooing.
Yeah.
So that's like
you
a
are
good
a body
spot for an F-bomb.
tattooer, and you do have you have a little bit of language, that was a big difference being in a shop tattooing clients with the heavy metal music going and black walls and the F-bombs, dropping in front of clients. I would be in that atmosphere. And then the next day I would get up the next day and go into my little tattoo room, which was 99 square feet at the moment. And then, bright white walls and you can't cuss and completely. So it's like it was like two characters I had to like snap in and out of, which was, interesting. But anyway, so I always like to close, time to close. So I always like to close with a positive saying, a positive quote. So I always ask my guests if they have a favorite positive quote or a positive saying or something that, and if you do, would you do the honors?
Happily. So I'm going to say a little bit more than just the quote, but the quote's powerful. I'm going to tell you guys why. My spiritual tattoo mentor, Keely Tackett, who died a few years ago to breast cancer, just randomly, anyways, it's just everywhere. She wrote me this card back in like 1998, and it just said, "Be inspired, inspire others." And I just love that.
Yeah.
I say it, so I give her credit, obviously, for saying it. It's in my book. But the reason is because art is life. And if you can be inspired, then you can be inspired by anything.
Right.
Anything, a sunset,
right.
Like hearing people laugh, just like you can be inspired by every minute of every
Right.
day and inspire others every minute of every day by your appreciation of those
Right.
moments, right? Get people out of their heads and into the moment. So that's thanks to Keely. Be inspired, inspire others.
Be inspired and inspire others. Yeah, that's deep. And if you're not inspired, are you living?
Right.
Are you really, truly living?
Right.
If you're not inspired,
Yeah.
feeling inspired, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not inspiring others, and you're not paying it forward, that's deep. I get really deep on some of these quotes. I do. So thank you so much for popping down today. Yeah. I'm just getting to know you, got to know you even more in the podcast, your real life podcast. Yeah. So it's really cool. So, once again, Stacie-Rae.com, you can buy, skins, her needles. And I do believe you even have pigments, right?
Yeah. So, how do I say this? I had a hand in creating the Pink Ribbon series, as most people know. And now just this year, just a couple months ago, we came out with Ever After made a Stacie-Rae areola set. So that's kind of cool to be able to work with both of those companies on two different projects. They're very different pigment sets, which is also kind of fun. Actually, could I just give these guys a little bit of free advice if they're going to be using either of those sets? Dilute. If you want natural results. Dilute that down. Do not mix brands. And I'm sorry, I got some advice to share. I thought we were closing. Anybody
that knows me knows I am a huge diluter. I dilute just even for my brow work, my eyeliner work, my lips, definitely my areola work. So dilute.
Yeah. So make sure that you use for your dilution solution. Make sure that you use the the wash solution that comes with that brand. So with Ever After is Essence. With world famous, I think it's shading solution, and don't mix brands in one session.
Well, that's
people who've been through, people that are immunocompromised, there weird things could be going on inside the body if they're on cancer treatments, and no reliable research has been done on it yet, but we're seeing bad things in the bodies, including what you guys are hearing about stuff showing up in Lymph nodes.
Lymph nodes. Yeah. That's like that's definitely, rule number one, never mix brands, So that was great advice. So Stacie-Rae.com, skins, pigments, needles, everything areola and scar work. And again, email us at training@girlzinc.com to get on your wait list. We haven't announced the dates yet. So email us to get on the wait list for Stacie's class, because you only do 3, maybe 4 students per class. And we will have an information sheet to email back to you on pricing, dates, and all that class includes. And Stacie will also be seeing areola and scar chemo clients here at the studio, which I'm super excited about. So thank you for hanging out with us today. You were fucking awesome. Oops. No, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. That was an amazing hour with Stacie-Rae. And remember, for those of you that are audio streaming us on Spotify, iTunes, Buzzsprout, and Podcast Addict, you can also, if you want to know what Stacie-Rae was wearing today, you can check us out on YouTube, Tatter-a-fact YouTube. And so thank you very much. Like and follow us. They mean a lot to us. We appreciate. Ask questions, engage us. We love that. And stay in the pursuit of happiness, everyone. We will see you next time.